Hey guys, Dreadnought Ryan here, Island Misfit Toy Collectors. I just wanted to give a quick update on some of the G.I. Joe classified drops that have happened, some of the updates that are out there. Operation Dragonfly, the Haslab, will be closing here in a few days. So let's go ahead and get started and review what we found out in the last couple days. So as you know, the HasLab has funded, so we know we are getting the Dragonfly, of course, and Wild Bill. We are also going to get the Night Force Ripcord. Glinda is still not unlocked at 16,000 because this particular HasLab kind of stalled, which sometimes these crowdfunds do kind of slow down in the middle. Then you'll have that big rush at the end. Hasbro and the Joe team did announce what that final tier will be, and it's going to be Crazy Legs. As with the Cobra Commander reveal for the Hiss tank, it is in a drawing form instead of in the digital render for what the figure will look like. So this will be the final unlock tier at 19,000 for this particular HasLab. I think we'll probably hit the 19,000. I would probably expect about 20,000 total units sold for this particular HasLab. It's almost a 3-foot long helicopter. Wild Bill looks amazing. The helicopter looks amazing. And I definitely can't wait till I can get this in my collection as well, too. I do like the fact that we are getting obscure characters for these particular tier unlocks because it's not hiding a mainline, figure behind a paywall. It allows all collectors to get some of those mainline characters when they're released with the mainline. I know a lot of folks wanted Doc or Airborne or even Hawk to be on these tiers. But for anybody who may not be able to afford the Dragonfly or have the space for it, it still allows them to get those particular figures if they are some of their favorites. I want to give a big shout out to Roel Robles. I hope I pronounced your name right again. He did some amazing renders for the Crazy Legs figure. You can find him on G.I. Joe Classified, at least on Facebook. He is an amazing artist, but it just gives you kind of a render of what you may expect for that particular figure to look like, also next to all of the digital renders that we've seen so far. Now, we do know that Glinda has that throwback feel to the 25th anniversary Scarlet Pilot, which means that we'll be speculating a little bit later on that. Emily did have a big announcement out there calling out on Instagram. Hey guys, we've been dropping a lot of Easter eggs. Yes, they lead someplace. Sometimes they don't. And it's made me really start to question when we see particular figure bucks being revealed where you can see some of them used again, accessories being reused again. I go back to saying that because with Glinda, you saw a laser pack rifle, which means flash. So there's a lot of different Easter eggs that are being dropped by the Joe teams. I don't know if they're just messing with us or just getting us excited or just causing, a bunch of swirl in the community. But I think it's cool when we can just speculate on what to expect at times. We did also find out, of course, that Airborne is a mainline release. Lenny and Emily had shared that during the roundtable they hosted with another Joe YouTube channels, podcasts, and of course, with Hiss tank forum director. They also announced that Doc is going to be a mainline character as well, too. That makes sense. Super 7 did Doc as a mainline release for their Ultimates line. And of course, we did know that we were going to get General Hawk as well, too. Again, I want to thank Roel Robles for these amazing renders. Just kind of what to expect for some of these particular figures. If we're getting Night Force, we're going to get mainline releases of Crazy Legs as well as Ripcord. Just kind of a look at what the mainline Retro Scarlet will look like. And of course, Doc and Airborne. I do hope that, Tony and Lenny and team are all on the same wavelength with a lot of these amazing Joe artists. And we get to see some of these interpretations of what we can expect from the Hasbro team. We also found out there will be a 3-pack of a fire team to go along with the Hiss HasLab. This will be a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. It will be open to everybody, not just for folks who bought the Hiss tank with the HasLab. Haslab. I am excited to see what these particular figures will look like. Are they going to be like Cobra Troopers that will just go along with it? Will they have some sort of different color? Will they be red? Will they be black? I just think it will be a cool repaint of probably some figures we've already seen with some extra accessories included. We also found out the worst kept secret in all of the G.I. Joe community. Of course, we knew that Chuckles with an armory, as they say, would be the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. We did get to see what we can expect from that particular exclusive. The box art will come with just some little bit of comic book, just going through what Chuckles had to do to acquire the information that he's stolen from the Baroness and from the Crimson Twins. He will come with a second head that has a black eye and some knocked out teeth, as well as a number of different accessories, a pistol, headphones, sunglasses, punching fists with what look like to be brass knuckles, of course, handcuffs, broken handcuffs, binoculars, a file, and then, of course, what looks like to be Soundwave, but it's probably more so just a cassette deck with headphones, and then, of course, a lei and a briefcase. With these particular exclusives, I know with Mindbender and with Serpentor, it was hard for a lot of collectors to pick up these particular characters, and I really hope that the Joe team does release these in the main line, and you can use those retro cards to release Mindbender again, maybe with that updated Cobra logo on the back of his cape without all the extra accessories. Same thing with Serpentor, and then with Chuckles as well too. So folks have the opportunity to get these particular figures when they want to get them. So let's get into the real fun part. Let's talk about what we can expect for the rest of 2022 and 2023. As I've said, I'm going to do some speculation. We've also had some release information as well too. Walmart will be the home for the Night Force G.I. Joe sub team, which Night Force was more G.I. Joe than it was anything else. But we are going to see some Cobra redecos for it. And then, of course, hopefully we'll see any of those redecoed figures in the main line as well, too. Once again, they just get to that point of releasing them. So what we do know for the Walmart exclusives, we're going to get, of course, the Range Viper and Big Ben. Those have already been released. We know that we are going to get Shooter as well as an Alley Viper redeco. We're going to get a Zombie Viper, and the reason why I bring that up, Zombie Viper, on the box art for Tunnel Rat, we did see what looks to be like zombie-type figures. So I'm going to say that I bet those will be some sort of Cobra Trooper with either a changeable head or some other accessories that allow them to be either zombies or Cobra Troopers, kind of like what they did for the Tele Vipers with the Trouble Bubbles. Just give you more options for heads for those particular figures so that you can either make them regular soldiers or if you want to do them as zombies as well too. We also know that Tennyson New Joe character, this is a really bad kept secret, it is Shockwave. So if we are getting a Night Force Shockwave, that means we will be getting a mainline release of Shockwave, and then there's a Night Force Joe redeco. Looking at the choices of what to expect for Night Force, as far as any of the redecos, I'm going to say I'm praying it's not going to be a Falcon, because I think we do need an updated Falcon either on a newer buck or a newer head. So I'm going to say that it's probably going to be an Outback redeco, possibly maybe a redeco of Tunnel Rat, but he hasn't been released yet, and we know that we already have the Tiger Force Outback mainline release Outback, so that particular tooling is not being used currently. So I can see that being the Night Force Outback being that redeco for the Joe. We also know that we're going to get a Night Force Shadow Tracker. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we'll see for us to order at the next collector con type thing for Walmart. where we'll be able to pick up a couple of those figures. I can see Shadow Tracker being one of those, which hopefully means we'll see that as a mainline release at some point as well. Let's talk Tiger Force and Python Patrol. So it has been rumored that we will be seeing a Python Patrol Televiper with Trouble Bubble and also a Python Patrol Ninja. I think this will be some sort of a redeco, either a mix of Kamakura, Storm Shadow, or either the red or blue ninjas that we've already seen. Tiger Force Flint will also be one of those redecos. And since we do know that Tripwire has been a name release, we'll see him at some point in Tiger Force. That really only leaves Roadblock and Lifeline. And since we haven't heard anything from Lifeline, I think probably the next few Tiger Force releases will be Roadblock, Tripwire, unless the Hasbro team does announce that Lifeline will be joining the Joe line. The other sub team that we haven't heard a lot about since Barbecue dropped as the Mad Marauders, which we all know as Slaughter's Marauders. I wouldn't be surprised if we do start to see some more of that team being built out. We are still missing Footloose and Mutton Junkyard, but we do already have Sergeant Slaughter. We also have Spirit, and the Joe team did also announce Lowlight. So at some point, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see the Sarge, Spirit, and Lowlight part of the Mad Marauders or Slaughter's Marauders to start help filling out that sub team as well. We do know that we are going to see some retro carded collections. Again, if we go back to that tooling for Glenda, we know that's going to be a Scarlet. We know for the His Tank Haslab that we had the Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander, so we will see a retro Cobra Commander with the regular Cobra sigil on the chest. That leaves the retro Papa. And I'm going to guess it's either going to be Flint or Duke. I'm hoping that it's more so Duke, just because we haven't had an updated retro style version of Duke, and I'd like to see what they would do with that. But I wouldn't put it past them to have Flint either. We did get the retro carded Lady J, so maybe we do get a retro carded Duke and Flint where we can get rid of the Nerf shotgun he came with and get something more of what he had in the past. We do also know that there will be some 60th anniversary figures, so I'm kind of excited to see what those could be. If it is a classic homage, if we get Joe Colton or G.I. Jane, that would be cool too. But I think whatever they'll be, I think the Joe team will do a great job with those. Now I want to get into the fun part. So we do know there's supposed to be vehicles with drivers coming. We know we have the Ram cycle so far. We know that we have the Trouble Bubble. We have the His Tank, and of course, the Dragonfly is Haslab. So we need some smaller vehicles to join the Joe team. And this is probably the toughest one of what to guess, because just pure size of some of these vehicles, I'm going to say these will probably have to be a Haslab exclusive. I'm sorry, not a Haslab, a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. Maybe some of the bigger online retailers, but I don't see like Walmart or Target or even Amazon maybe carrying these. So again, like I said, we know we have the Trouble Bubble and the Ram already. So let's start with some Cobra vehicles that we might see. I'm going to throw out there the Cobra Fang, just because we do know that we have the Dragonfly coming, and it would be nice to have a smaller helicopter. And the Fang, you can redeco a Cobra Trooper to go along with it. It would just make a fun little vehicle to include. It's small enough that you could sell it something at retail where it would make sense, and you can include a pilot with it. The other small vehicle I could think of is the Cobra Ferret. And that would go where you could base that up against the Ram. That is a nice vehicle as well, too. Just not sure who you would include with it. But again, it might just be, a redecoed Cobra Trooper, Cobra Viper, something along those lines. But it would just be an easy vehicle to do. Now, for my kind of off-the-wall ones, I think we may either get a Vamp or an Ostriker. I lean more towards the Vamp, probably because that was one of my first Joe vehicles that I had with clutch. But the other reason why I think this is it offers up more redeco and reuse of those molds. And as we know, Hasbro and the Joe team does like to reuse those molds where they can. You know that with the Vamp, you can get the Vamp Mark II. You can also get the Cobra Stinger. And then, of course, you know, I am the Dreadnought Ryan. That means we could also see the Dreadnought Ground Assault with a Heart Wrencher figure. Just saying, throwing it out there. But I think that gives you multiple opportunities to use that same molding to get multiple vehicles out there. And again, you can include different figures with that particular vehicle, and it will allow you to continue building out if you did get the Hiss tank as well as the Dragonfly and still have some cool vehicles. I don't know if we might see like a shark. I was hoping we might see something like that, but I know that there's a lot of people who hate Deep Six, so I get that as well too. But those are my updates for 2024. What do you guys think we'll might be able to see for the rest of the year? With the expanded amount of waves that we've seen, 5-figure waves, it looks like Hasbro has finally figured out that the classified series is selling, but they need to be smart about how they are approaching it. Hopefully we do get to see some more vehicles. I know folks are asking for it that aren't a Haslab. I can see smaller vehicles. I think that would be great. I hope at some point that we do get all of the Dreadnought vehicles. You know, I'm just saying some motorcycles. I don't know. Just a number of different things. Storm Chaser or Storm Rider with the trike would be cool. Just throwing it out there, guys. Just you know, Dreadnoughts. That's what we should all have already. Get the rest of the Joes. Just kidding. Hey, thanks everyone for the support for the Island of Misfit Toy Collectors. You guys are awesome. Thank you again for everyone who subscribed, who leaves comments. You guys are amazing. I hope you guys are having a great night, morning, evening, day, lunch, wherever you're at on the Island of Misfit Toy Collectors. And more importantly, you guys rock. Talk to you soon.